Just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So I'm me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, January 15th. It is Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. Lloyd. Lloyd looks right over there, which is great. Happy Martin Luther King Day is a great day.
To all who celebrate.
Great day. It's very cold outside. Everybody got the day off from work. Most people got the day off from work. It is freezing. It seems like everybody's gonna get the day off work again tomorrow because icy roads in Louisiana. Nobody really knows how to handle that. Nobody knows how to drive. So we have a lot to talk about. Great weekend. It was wedding weekend for me. Wedding weekend for you as well, right, Lloyd? Didn't you have a wedding?
Mardi Gras ball.
Mardi Gras ball. Okay, similar stuff.
Same thing.
Probably more fun.
Yeah.
Our wedding was great. Cousins,
Married to
families.
the game. Married to the beads.
Married to the beads, huh? You loved it?
Loved it.
Dressed in the tux?
I did. Popped the button off.
Wait, Lloyd was
it-
in a tux this
Yeah,
weekend?
was it your tux?
My God.
Oh yeah, I got my.
Lloyd has his own tux.
What?
This is the second one. We lost the first one at a Parlingua in Alexandria. We got
That's even more
switched.
impressive.
How do you you had 2 tuxes?
This is the second one.
I know you've had 2.
Yeah. Hopefully
That's-
it stays at 2. But it's getting a little tight.
F45.
Well, you gotta.
Neck's a little big.
You gotta. Is it big because you've been working out, or is it big because you have not been working out?
Gaining weight.
Yeah,
Colossal.
You need a little cool sculpting again.
I know.
But big weekend for everybody. Big weekend for everybody. Jared, how was your weekend?
We had a good weekend, man.
Watch some football, hung out.
A lot of football.
A lot of football to talk about. Yeah. College sports, college football, college baseball is right around the corner this Sunday. First pitch banquet, we will be there. All of us having a show. Also
Found out a lot about it, huh?
Me and Jared
found out more info about this.
Yeah, as we go. Yeah. We will be, I believe, we will be on the stage interviewing Kevin Gosman, I believe.
They messed up.
They did mess up.
They let us idiots up there?
I think they did. Especially with Kevin with us, because we're a little comfortable.
Not good.
I think that's really good for Kevin, right? Because it takes, now he doesn't have to go up there and just sit and talk. Now he can kind of be looser and talk. Maybe he doesn't want to do that. I don't know, but that's what it was thrown right at me unexpectedly, and then all of a sudden I just threw it to you unexpectedly. So
unexpectedly.
That's what we'll have going on Sunday. We're looking forward to it. It'll be really fun.
I'm not doing that at all.
You're not going to be on. You're just going to be drinking at that point.
Yeah, she looked at me and was like, no chance.
Yeah, you are not going on there. You're not moderating. You're going to be.
This must not have been Jay's decision then. This was Jay's decision.
So. I told Jay that we were doing it, and he was like, oh, yeah, that'd be good. Okay. He didn't know. I don't think. Well, that's okay. He's not supposed to. He doesn't run those things. That's not his deal. He just shows up.
We just do our deal.
Whose idea was this? Was this Leon's idea?
No, it's just someone TAF, I think. I don't know what they're doing. But we're there. We're going to be there. We're excited about it. This weekend was a lot of NFL football.
We will be live there for the first.
We will be live there from 6 to 6:45 in the VIP room. If you have not purchased VIP tickets,
come in for a hot 45.
Do it. Come in there. Watch us. Walk by. Steelers are right back in the game, Coach. It's 24-17.
Whoever saw it this way.
Wow.
Should we get Mo one?
The over already hit, by the way.
I guarantee she is losing her shit.
She's fired up. This is they made a little run. Look, Mason Rudolph making that comeback. Down 21-0. Now it's 21-17.
Run, Rudolph.
Run, Rudolph. He's kind of making a resurgent. You feel like he's been in the NFL for 15 years.
Let a naysayer know.
He was drafted. What year was Mason Rudolph drafted? Tell me.
2012.
I don't know. 15.
2018.
Ooh, 18.
And I feel like that's wrong. I feel like whoever told me that on TV was wrong.
Tony?
But 2018 was when Mason Rudolph was drafted.
Fattest face.
That's 5 years ago. I feel like Mason Rudolph's like closer to my age, but he's not. Not even close. He's 10 years younger than me. Oh, not 10 years.
I'm sure that's right.
I'm not sure. That's why I'd like for someone to fact check me on the fact check whoever told me on TV. I don't know who it was, but I heard it, and it blew my mind, so I'm not sure. But needless to say, he's making a big comeback. This game is entertaining. The games this weekend were kind of
He's 28. 2018, third-round pick, Oklahoma State. I knew that.
Crazy. 2018, that's nuts. You know, it seems
I'm a man.
like,
I'm 40.
Yeah, that's not him. That was his coach. But we got a lot of NFL conversations. We're going to talk a little bit about the LSU coaching search. No new real news has come out. Alabama players are kind of continuing to get in the portal. One, Desmond Ricks, just made a portal announcement official. So he is now in the portal. If you remember, Desmond Ricks, the LSU was a finalist for him when he was coming out of high school and almost slipped up and said, I'm committing to
up until the last second.
Tigers. He was going to say Tigers, and he went Tide, and he's a Tide. I guess, you know.
And he cried.
The notification must have came through.
Special delivery. Yeah. The ACH transfer happened. That's what happened. You know, they finally hit the bank account. So he is back. He is back in the portal. Still no secondaries coach in Baton Rouge. They have almost filled out their
technically there's one
staff.
in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. No secondaries coach for LSU yet. They have two defensive line coaches. They have a defensive coordinator who I think everybody's excited about, all three of those guys. You have your offensive line coach who everybody's obviously excited about. You have your head coach. You don't have an OC yet. You have a lot of rumors that are being thrown out there about who the OC is. God, I hope it's not Tommy Rees. Like, can't be anybody, but it has to be anybody but Tommy Rees. Like, Tommy,
Stick with what's in the building.
you had your shot.
You blew it.
You didn't. No, you didn't believe. You just said no. You took the road less traveled, and you said I'm gonna go there, and then that kind of backfired because that guy that hired you is now not coaching anymore, and you didn't get that OC job with a new coach. So you were unemployed. I'd imagine you're gonna get a job somewhere. I just hope it's not in Baton Rouge. No offense to you. You could be great. I think what we've got going on right now in Baton Rouge doesn't need Tommy Rees to come here. There are some other names, obviously, that are out there. I have a feeling that whoever's hired as the OC, you haven't really heard anything about yet. No reason to say that other than the fact that that's kind of what happened with the Brian Kelly deal. The Blake Baker stuff happened pretty quick. So I'd imagine that is what's going to happen, but we shall see. LSU football got another wide receiver transfer. I think this is a big one for LSU because what was your biggest worry going into the year was the no experience in the receiver room, right?
Yeah.
And you have some talented young guys, and those guys are still going to be able to play, but you were worried about them going into next year. New coaching staff, basically. Not new coach, but new OC. And not having guys that you can really count on day in and day out that have experience in the receiver. Now, 3 transfers in the wide receiver. You have Kyron Lacey obviously coming back. He is a veteran. You have the kid from Liberty who just transferred in, CJ Daniels. He is a really big pickup. He has some really good numbers on a team that does not throw the football a lot. And who's the other veteran guy we got in the portal? The guy from Mississippi State.
Savion Thomas.
Right? So you bring some experience. That's kind of gotta help a little bit. Now obviously you still gotta have the continuity. You still gotta go and work together and do whatever, but it's gotta help a little bit, right?
Yeah. It's definitely going to help them a lot to have some guys in there that have done it before. And this is honestly, truthfully, whether they actually went out the job and or not, I would expect they will. We will see as things unfold next fall. But the ability to get some guys in there with some game experience, some big game experience to have played on this level is going to matter, right? Now, the question will be is how quickly can they get up to speed with what they do in the LSU room. And now, honestly, like this conversation about the OC is becoming more and more interesting to me simply because, like, I'm with you on the Tommy Rees thing. But I also feel that way pretty much about anybody else in the country who you can throw out there, right? Like, to me, you have 2 guys in here who have been running this thing. And I know I've pretty much said the opposite before, but the more I start to think of it, I'm
Right.
like, listen, man, not so much off of just what it is, but the more I start to think of it, I'm like, I don't know. Like, if you're going to get someone else to come in here, can we completely change the whole room up, the terminology, how we run stuff, and expect it to be really good in year one when we need to win next year?
Right.
That's hard.
Or
So-
can you say, do that, and are they that much better than what we've got now if they have to change all of that, right?
I just don't know. Find me a place in the country where you bring in new OC, you bring in new quarterback, you bring in new receivers, and or play receivers that have not played before. Same thing with the quarterback. And year one, it's hit the ground running, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Find me one.
And you replaced your entire defensive staff.
Yeah, I mean, like, we saw, like, don't get me wrong, we saw how
All
good.
of it.
No,
All
I'm
of
just
it.
talking about just from the offensive side of the ball. Like, really to think about what I'm saying. Like, we saw how good Jaden was last year, and what was the noise still? Well, he's not good enough. We're going to need some changes. We're going to need a lot more. We need him to actually be able to throw the ball. And I'm not saying that all those things were not wrong, right? I don't know how you find that in year one when you're asking all of that to be changed up. So I kind of now like the thought process of I love a nice bench coach who has a ton of experience, can make a ton of suggestions, and you kind of let the system that's in place continue the system, if that makes any
Right.
sense. You know,
Right.
you allow him to come in, whoever him is, and maybe not necessarily take over as the OC, but be the analyst that can kind of get in there and do everything he needs to do, and he's obviously not on the field every day. I kind of like that idea, and I'm not sure if I was on it before. I just don't know. I'm not very excited about the ceiling of it, if you will, if we bring in a new OC with all of these new faces and all of these guys who don't have game experience yet.
That's why when I said I think that it's somebody that nobody's really talked much about, because I think that is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think they're going to keep the guys they have in place, because Joe Sloan's been a proven recruiter, right? A developer of quarterbacks. Hasn't had a ton of success as an OC. Like, let's just put it out there. Like, his numbers in Louisiana Tech weren't great after the first year he's there, right? Now, there's a bunch of reasons why that could have happened. Obviously, talent does matter. You know, having the guys capable of doing the stuff and putting in and running the system that you put in, that is important. But I feel like him and Hankton called a really good game. He was obviously calling the plays. Hankton was helping with the installation of it and with the game planning of it. And in the bowl game,
Maybe the insertion of another coach.
That's where I'm getting at. And I'm not saying it's the guy that I mentioned last week. I'm not saying it because, listen, that was very early rumor. That isn't even a rumor. If it's a rumor, it's because I started the rumor, right? And it was only because of
what I saw.
It was just a very happenstance situation.
It's not often you get people passing through Louisiana, and it's the lower half of Louisiana. Even though I know the guy, he was coming from Houston, right? Or supposedly.
And he's frequenting the place that I saw him at, so he enjoys that place.
It's just, you just never know. It's not – usually when I know people are passing through Louisiana, it's through North Louisiana.
Yep.
So,
and it could be nothing. It could be nothing.
Weird place to see a name that's available.
That's a football coach with a football school.
That's done it for a long time.
It's an offensive guy.
Just weird place.
Agreed. And that's all I'm saying. I was just reporting on something that I thought was a weird coincidence. And it could be nothing. Maybe it just could be him passing by, passing through, seeing an old friend and leaving.
If you just happen to see Corey Raymond at the gas station, I think that's a little bit different, right? Like, guys born and raised in Louisiana, coached here before, he's lived here before. Like, he doesn't have a job right now.
Still has a house here.
There's a possibility that maybe he's living here. I don't know, right? That would make a little more sense. This one, I'm not sure there's many Louisiana ties.
Agreed. I'm not saying – what?
What's his name?
Dana Holgerson. For those of you who don't know, and I had mentioned it on Friday, I had run into a friend, apparently a mutual friend of Dana and I's, which I didn't know.
7 circles of Kevin Bacon.
And he was here, and he was hanging out with Blake Baker. They must know each other, you know?
Come on now, come get a drink with me.
They were hanging out, and he was here. And he was here for what reason, I don't know. But there has been a vacancy in the offensive coordinator position. This guy is now recently got a $15 million buyout from Houston. So I'm not saying he is going to be the OC, but to your point, maybe he gets hired on as, hey, listen, I'm getting paid all this money. I just want to be around the game for a little bit. You know, let's go here. Let me come here as an analyst and help with the transition of you guys as the OC.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe not, and maybe it's nothing, but could be something. I think I'm leaning towards it maybe something more than not, but we'll see. It'll be interesting development. But to your point, Jay, I do think that's what they're kind of leaning towards. At least me. Like I'd be okay with it. I think elevating the guys you have now, keep them as OC, touchdown.
Yeah.
So
who scored?
Buffalo.
Shahir.
I have him on
that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, FanDuel.
A FanDuel daily.
I thought you were going to say
playoff.
fantasy.
FanDuel daily fantasy, just the playoff games.
Yeah. Just for a little context with the Blake Baker, Dana Holgerson. Blake Baker is from Houston, Texas. Dana
I knew that.
Obviously coached there twice. So they probably have run into each other maybe a time or two, whether it be recruiting or otherwise.
Okay.
But there's a little bit there's more than – the more we unspool the thread, you're starting to see a little bit more of a connection as opposed to the first thing I thought was Brian Kelly, Dana Holgerson, couldn't find any connection. Blake Baker, Dana Holgerson.
That's why they're eating together, drinking together.
Recruiting together.
I don't know. He's not recruiting. Dana's not recruiting. He doesn't have a coach. He doesn't have a job. So he's not recruiting for anything.
No, I'm talking about in the previous life.
On a previous life, for sure. Definitely would come through. I mean, this is a great place to come recruit. South Louisiana.
No, I'm saying because Blake Baker coached high school in Houston.
Yeah, right.
And that's when Dana was the OC quarterbacks coach in Houston. So I'm sure they had, hey, this guy's pretty good.
Houston has some pretty good offenses when he was there.
Yes.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Could be nothing, maybe something. Who knows? We'll find out hopefully here soon.
We'll keep fingering the pulse.
Yeah, that. What you said.
Huh?
Talking about guys who talking about like operations and players coming in and like making like these enormous differences, right? I'm flipping from what we just talked about to the NFL. CJ Stroud.
Houston.
Talking about Houston. I mean, they beat the Browns 45-14. Now, I don't know if I was ever sold on the Browns this year. I know their defense was really good, but like Deshaun Watson was out.
Before we get there,
Joe
can we put a
Flacco.
button on the LSU thing?
Yeah, put a
Because
button on it.
Tommy Reese, Dana Holger said, like, if you start making these connections, there's somebody in the chat that said he could be assigned to an off-field role. So you're not the only one with a little bit of steam on this.
Who said that?
There's a man in the chat.
What did he say?
It was Go Tigers 195 exclamation point. Holgerson is coming in for an off-field position. So he obviously has a little, I mean, I don't know who
Which
he
is
is.
part of what I said could happen.
But then that puts the kibosh on the Tommy Reese scenario, right?
You would imagine.
Right.
I feel like if you bring in Dana Holgerson for an off-field position, that means those guys are getting promoted to the OC, or they're keeping that title, with Dana Holgerson being the, hey, you're going to help
analyst, but help me with, and then you don't have to bring in a quote-unquote actual OC. And
right.
For the Tommy Reese conversation, I think that would be as much progress as Brian Kelly has made in this offseason with hiring Bo Davis, Blake Baker, bringing in the recruiting that he has, and getting
And the
that.
other defensive line coach, don't forget about two. They have two of them.
Yeah, Kevin Peoples.
Yes.
Who is just going to focus on edge rushing.
Right.
Which is
Which
cool.
is, listen, whenever they made that move, people were like, why would you hire two? Because
Did you want it to be better or worse than it was last year?
being an edge rusher
It's different.
is basically its own position.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Like, look at the NFL. You have defensive ends that are basically linebackers. Like, what is Micah Parsons? What is T.J. Watt? Now, okay, T.J. Watt,
No, he's an edge rusher.
I mean, he's definitely.
He's
like,
a 3-4 linebacker.
For sure.
And
Exactly.
Blake Baker runs what?
I don't know.
A 3-4.
There you go.
Now we got to get some guys. We don't have enough guys for that role. We don't have, I mean, actually, we have more guys for that situation than the than four down. We don't have enough down linemen. We don't have
Right.
enough DTs.
We got athletes.
You can put some guys in stand up if you know how to get them there.
Here's
Dylan
another thought
Perkins?
process too. Like you got to think about it.
Sean Womack.
One to move to tight end.
When you got year one and you got dudes coming from all over and they excel enough on offense, you got year two, it's one of the top two, maybe three best offenses in the country, and you win a Heisman. I get it. That guy leaves, OC leaves, but it's really hard for me to think that you would sit there and say, let's switch this entire thing up. Especially after they all leave and the guy that hasn't played in 2 years gets under there and we say, man, it'd be happy. It'd be cool to see if he throws, I don't know, maybe 250, maybe 2 touchdowns in that bowl game and he finds a way to throw for 300 plus in 3. Hard for me to think you say, yep, not good. We got to switch this whole thing up.
Right.
So I think there's some continuity they're going to try to continue and build upon and kind of keep
No
that
doubt.
going. And I would imagine that's a thing.
And when you go to the Tommy Reese saga, like I've referenced this all the time, but there's a interview he did with Ryan Russillo where he talked about getting under Brian Kelly's, like, kind of leaving the nest, so to speak, where he's like, Brian Kelly has his principles on offense. He goes, I don't agree with some of them. When you put that out into the ether,
Well, yeah, and
that can
then
rub
you do
coaches
what
the
you
wrong
did,
way. Yeah.
And then you what happens with
Then you have
like,
the photo of him in the booth where he's just in hell.
And so sometimes you got to come back to the nest, but sometimes the nest is maybe gets knocked down out of the tree. There's no nest to go back to.
But he, like you said, he got a little, maybe, I don't want to say big for his britches, but he was kind of like, I'm set up for going
He
down.
thought he was ready, and maybe he was ready. Maybe just, but
What you saw at Alabama is nothing I want to see at LSU.
no. And you can say, the quarterback wasn't the guy, but he's plenty talented enough. More talented than a lot of the guys that
Well, it took you long enough to figure out
what to
that
do
you
with them.
can't lose to USF. You're down
Yeah.
14-10 at halftime to a game that's streaming from a cell phone. And you don't know how to. You don't even want to play Jalen Milroe. You took in the lacrosse player.
Yeah. He just doesn't need to come here.
Doesn't, yeah,
Stay-
all
stay-
good. All and if he comes here, love to
And
meet
look,
you. We'll
best of
figure
luck-
this out.
Best of luck to you in your career. Just we don't need you.
We don't
here.
need it here.
You can go coach somewhere else. Fine. I want a little experience. If you're gonna, I like a little bit more
Season.
season. And from all accounts, Dana has that, and Dana's
Salty.
he gets after it. Likes to have a good time. But he's very good offensive mind. You don't have to run the whole deal. You just install your system. Or not even your system. Help us keep our system. Help us make it better. Install some of your concepts periodically as an analyst. And
He's an ear to bend.
if it doesn't work out, we got you here. Or if you think, hey, the guys aren't ready, or they didn't work out for a year, elevate him up. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but you get him in the building, then you have the opportunity to keep him there, and he can, construct an offense because he's known for having really good offenses. So
It's only a positive in my mind.
it's only what?
It's only a positive in my mind
I agree.
to have somebody like that, and that's where LSU kind of has to start with the.
Has anybody else said is this like a
No, I've only heard it from you.
in the person in the chat?
And go Tigers 195 exclamation point. So you're in good company.
Yeah, but he heard it, right? Someone else had to have to say, unless he heard it from us.
First time I've seen him in the chat, but could be.
Maybe he's a
Regardless,
plant. He's a plant.
I think that maybe it's Dana.
Dana, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
This burrito is good, but it is filling. But if you're LSU, you have to start thinking about why not LSU being this new kind of factory in which you can have coaches that have had success, maybe not the most successful of all time, but they're not moving into being offensive coordinator. You're just getting analysts where with Alabama and Nick Saban gone, that you can fill that void of just having a stable of great coaches.
For sure. And the way you get the stable of good coaches is you have an experienced guy that is running the ship. The guys come in behind, and you just
Elevate.
hey, here, then move, here, and then move, here, and then move. And that's hopefully what they're trying to do. I hope they make this decision here soon so that everybody we can move on from it, and they have everything done going into the offseason. I know they're not in a huge rush, but signing day is in a month, 3 weeks. You'd imagine that they probably finalize something before then. Who knows? But can't be time race.
They still have, with the addition of Kevin Peoples, how many people does that bring to the staff? You can only have 10 on-field coaches, correct? So for LSU football, you have Kevin Peoples, Blake Baker. You have nobody at
Okay, so you have Peoples, Baker, Bo Davis
all
on
on
the
field.
defensive side. You're going to have a secondaries coach. So that's 4. So let's just say right now you have 3. Then you have
Brad Davis.
Hankton, Joe Sloan. Does
You have no tight ends coach, and they've been flirting with the Tulane's tight end coach at the
does
moment.
Brian Kelly count in this?
I
Or
would
is it
imagine
10?
so.
Is
He's
it
a
10?
full-time coach? Yeah.
No, but is it 10?
On the field, like full
Even
time,
including
Yes.
Brian Kelly.
I would
So you have Brian
imagine.
Kelly. So now you have 2 more spots. One's going to be a secondaries coach. Wait, no. You have 3 more spots. I forgot to do this. The thumb. So you have 3 more spots. Isn't that right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure that's right. So who else? You have to have a secondaries coach. You have to have I guess you don't have to have a tight ends coach, but they're probably going to get a tight ends coach. And that leaves you one other spot.
And it depends if they go secondary safeties coach and defensive backs coach. And where do you put Blake
Part of me
Baker?
feels like since they've done
The split.
of the defensive line, they do one.
Well, Blake Baker also coached safeties at Missouri. He was a linebackers coach at LSU, but coached safeties and defensive coordinator at Missouri. So you could fill a spot there.
Who's the linebackers coach now?
Then that would be
That's what I mean.
whoever
So
they
you-
bring in on, like somebody that's probably
I
still on
would rather
staff.
him be the linebackers coach and you just bring in a guy who does all the
And Kevin Peoples just does edge.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. There's still some spots to fill, but you're also running out of space.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Interesting. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'd imagine it's going to happen here soon. I don't
Because
know.
you would like to get a defensive backs coach or safeties coach, however you want to phrase
Because
it.
you got Desmond Ricks in the portal. You got guys in the portal that you need to fill. You've got your defensive line. I'd imagine. Did you hear something? I thought I heard a squeak back there.
That was my
I
foot.
thought that was your, I thought that was your hand.
That was not his foot. Okay. We got a lot of things happening. I would imagine that with those two guys as our defensive line coaches right now, that you're starting to maybe see some movement on the defensive line, getting the portal and coming here. Maybe. I don't know. We shall see. But those are all things that
There
in
is
the near future. What?
on that front. DeAndre Robinson is considering asking for his release from his letter of intent from Texas because of LSU adding Bo Davis as a defensive line coach. He committed to him, and now he's a 4-star defensive lineman at 6'3", 315 pounds, committed to Texas over Florida on July 20th, and put pen to paper for the early signing period. But since then, Bo Davis has moved to LSU, and he has said he's talked to Steve Sarkisian 5 times since the news of Bo Davis.
5 times. That's a lot.
And he says,
How many times? Why did he talk that many times?
Because I don't think they want to let him go. And then from Jerry Hamilton from the Inside Scoop, he says, I will say this. He's definitely considering asking for a release from his national letter of intent. That's definitely in play. So they're trying to get this
Where's
kind
he
of,
from?
That I don't know. But he goes, my closest relationship is with Bo Davis. This is Robinson talking. We talk every day. We can talk about everything. That's who he was connected with. That's who he had the relationship with. And that's his guy. And that's the big reason he committed on July. So LSU has said that would be a big get for LSU to be able to add a 4-star. You talk Don McKinley, Gabe Rilliford. Now you get a 4-star from Texas. And you start building up that defensive line where it was deficient.
Very deficient, right? And maybe Mason Smith comes back. Maybe. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I think it would have happened by now.
He just announced like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Well, a week ago.
yeah, it was a week ago.
Yeah, but I mean, you
Sure,
still
Bo
gotta-
Davis has talked to him.
Yeah, but you still go through the
Well,
grading
we'll see.
period. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I mean, maybe. What? What are you laughing?
I'm just watching, man. Nothing.
All right, moving on to the NFL. First game of the week.
What?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know.
First game of the weekend was Texans-Browns, right? Browns, I kind of felt like we're going to lose. I wasn't really sold on Joe Flacco and the Browns. C.J. Stroud, though, boy, he kind of doing it.
Looks the part, but I think they're brewing something special over there with D'Amico Ryans and that crew. The real thing is I want to see how long they'll be able to keep it together because apparently the OC, the Bobby Slowick guy, is under the Shanahan tree, and he may be getting a job soon. So he obviously is very good at what he does too. And exit one OC, can you keep it going with the new OC that comes in? Very obvious that the coaching that they have there has done a very, very good job. Because you got to remember, they got a lot of young receivers. They got a young quarterback. They got some young guys that found some continuity super early in their career. And it's pretty fun watching them play because they got a good team. Good team.
I think people didn't think C.J. Stroud was going to be as good as he was. And
Well, he failed that test.
he failed the test.
Didn't show up to the Manning camp either.
Yeah, they didn't like any of that.
No, that was just, what was his name, Brady?
Tom?
No,
Joe?
Notre Dame. Quarterback.
Oh, Brady Quinn.
Brady Quinn didn't like it. Outed him about it. Said
Yeah,
wouldn't take him since he didn't show up to the camp. You know, all these things. You might want to
Good thing you're not a
backtrack
GM,
that
Brady,
right now.
because
Backtrack that right now.
Nelson didn't show up to the camp. Actually, he was there. He just slept through it. Johnny Manziel.
Well, Johnny. I actually had a conversation about Johnny Manziel this weekend with his cousin, actually.
How's he doing?
He's like,
Still Johnny.
being Johnny hadn't changed.
Good.
Enjoying himself,
I respect that.
doing his deal. Has a bar.
Yeah, he did. He just built it.
He says he does well, especially during football season.
It's a shots bar only.
And
College Station.
yep, it's a what?
I think it's like shots only. It's like the big push.
Oh, is it? Is it money? It's money Manziel, right? It's money
Shocker,
bar. It's a
yeah.
money bar or something.
Cash only. too much money in my ear.
It does well, I think, from what I heard. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, they're gonna have to go replace him when he leaves because it's inevitable. When you have success, you're gonna leave. Like, look, the Detroit Lions, one of the best stories in football. Their offensive coordinator, is it Ben Johnson?
Yep.
He is getting interviews from everywhere.
Yep.
So like, he's not gonna be there.
Not the Saints.
Huh?
Not the Saints.
Not the Saints. Not the Saints.
Saints are probably committed on the group.
Yay, that's what we want. That's good. That's
Could
really
you
good.
ask for a better group of coaches to be available, and you just hold?
You have two of the greatest coaches of all time, 2 Hall of Famers. That, like, hey, they may not be there for the long haul, but for a 2-3 year stretch, they've got some left in the tank. They could put you in a position where the next guy kind of gets you right back where you need to be. Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll both still want to coach.
Hard to say there's a
Not
more
gonna come
talented group of free agent coaches that there's about to be. Think about it. I mean, there's Bill. There's what was the other one you just said? I don't know. I just
Pete.
went blank. There's Bill that's out there. There's Pete that's out there. There's
Mike Vrabel.
There's Vrabel
Mike
that's out
Vrabel?
there.
That would be
there's
the one I would pick.
it's stirring in the wind right now, and I don't. If he does do it, I'm not sure he'll go anywhere. But there's possibly a Mike Tomlin that might be out there as well. Oh yeah, there's a lot out there, and the Saints just are not seemingly, unless they're playing it close to the vest, are not in that conversation.
And if you're in the camp of saying, hey, listen, look, those guys have been very successful and they've won a bunch of games. They're very veteran, but they're a little older. Tomlin doesn't count. But the other ones, a little older, maybe we don't want them.
Hearing some whispers of Gruden in that Saints conversation.
I was going to get to that. Got some information this weekend.
Oh, Mikey Insiders.
Report.
So, this is not like hard info. This is.
Where were you this weekend?
I was in New Orleans.
Oh,
Yeah, I was in New Orleans. I was in the city. You know, talking, hanging out.
emailing,
Yeah. Carrier pigeons.
all that.
Yeah, all that. Before I get to that, though, if you're not, let's say you're in the camp of saying, okay, I don't want this veteran, older guy who's very good, but like, oh, he hadn't done really well in New England the last couple of years. You know, and he's not gonna be there. We don't want to have to wait. We don't want just 2 years. We want a longer stretch. Not only do you have a great group of Hall of Fame crop potential free agent coaches. I mean, look, if Tomlin is going to be a free agent, that's 3 Hall of Famers out there, right? John Gruden's obviously still out there. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but
Right.
maybe
Maybe
not after everything that happened, but like.
That's 3 as top tier you could possibly
Right.
get coaches.
Now, let's go on the other side.
And also, remember, you got Jim's taking calls too right now.
Yep.
Harbaugh.
Jim is another coach that will probably be in the NFL. But let's just take it. Jim's not coming to New Orleans, obviously. But even if you don't want the veteran guys, the other side of it is you have a crop of young guys right now that are coming from programs and organizations that have made this huge turnaround, right? And so they've been groomed by Dan Campbell, and Dan Campbell was in New Orleans, right? Dan Campbell was groomed as a coach because he had got to play for Sean, played for all these guys, right? Was in New Orleans, then he was in Miami for a little bit, and then came. I guess he was in Miami, then came to New Orleans, right? Whatever.
He was
Yeah.
the interim.
Yeah. And then went to Detroit and redefined their program, right? Completely changed their culture. And now you have Aaron Glenn, who also was in New Orleans,
Played there.
played there. You have Aaron Glenn, who's a DC, who is now going to start getting he's going to get head coaching job offers, or at least interviews, right? You're also getting Ben Davis, who's the OC there.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, who's the OC there, who's starting to get looks as a head coach,
Not
right?
starting to get looks. I think he's going to be on somebody's short
Right.
list this year.
No doubt.
Oh, he's probably the most interviewed
No
candidate
doubt.
of
Then
any
you
of
got
them.
Slowick from Houston, right? That is a program that was in the shitter for 3 years since Bill O'Brien ruined it. You bring in D'Amico Ryans, who comes in from San Fran, who's historically one of the best organizations of all time. You had Kyle Shanahan, who has kept that machine rolling no matter who the quarterback was. D'Amico Ryans was a big part of that. comes over there, changes the culture in Houston. So now you got Slowick going to get interviews, right? You have disciples of Kyle Shanahan everywhere. You have Mike McDaniel who's doing what he's doing with the Dolphins. My point is, you not only have the Hall of Fame veteran quarterbacks on the free agent market, you have a crop of young, talented, very good coaches on the free agent market too. And not just guys that are like one-year wonders and coming out of, this guy's only done it for 1 year. No. They're coming from a coaching tree that is proven and culture builders, really. And that's what it comes down to, is culture builders. And so it's unfortunate that the Saints aren't going to be in the market for any of that. Now, back to what I heard in New Orleans.
What's the T?
So I think there's a lot of smoke behind the John Gruden hire. My understanding, and this isn't a for sure thing, but this is what I think is going to happen. That's what I heard. Yeah. They're going to hire him in New Orleans to be part of the staff. To help with Derek Carr,
like a Dana
the whole
Hergelson
deal,
role.
whatever. Then they are going to give DA a year.
Another one?
With him there.
Okay.
Then they're going to fire DA. And then they're going to promote John Gruden head coach. That is what was told to me this week. This is not set in stone, but
What time did you hear this?
no, this is something.
How many long
This
necks?
is something
How many
that
Heinekens?
and
How many long necks? I
I'm
need to
just
know.
saying this is the smoke about John Gruden coming out of New Orleans is real. I think that's probably going to happen. What shape or what role is he going to have? I don't know, but he's not coming to New Orleans just to help out. He's coming to New Orleans with the hopes of having a bigger opportunity down the
Did
line.
DA coach under Gruden in Vegas? Or in Oakland?
I think DA took the job after.
Well, I know he took it after, but was he already there?
I am not sure about that answer.
Let's say if he was, boy, DA can't be very friendly with John if that's the case.
I don't know. Now listen, this could be obviously nothing. This isn't coming from Mickey Loomis or Gail Benson. This is just another rumor that was told to me. This isn't even me seeing something that I shouldn't have seen or running into something. This is just someone told me this. He's kind of around.
I believe it was
People.
John Gruden that replaced Dennis Allen, right?
Is that what it is? The other way around?
Little flip flop.
Either way,
Either way.
the Saints are not in the market for a head coach right now, or an offensive coordinator for that matter.
Seemingly.
Seemingly, it's.
He still has to beat. Sorry, that's what I was looking up. He still has the lawsuit against the NFL that he is trying to clear his name with that went to court in December, and it's obviously.
I guess they must feel that they're going to win that.
They want to go to arbitration at Nevada Supreme Court. That was January 11th. Gruden sued the NFL in October 21 after leaked emails led to his abrupt resignation as head coach of the Raiders. So they're still battling this thing out in court. Gruden has all the money in the world to be able to do it because of his Monday Night Football gig. So he is not going quietly into the wind. He is staunchly.
That's his way. He wants to coach. Right?
That's what I was going to say. If he is battling this hard, it's because he wants to get back into the NFL coaching game.
Right. So I don't know what's going to
That'd
happen.
be an upgrade over Dennis Allen,
Duh.
despite everything that.
Yeah, listen. That was not great.
But it does feel like that was leaked by the NFL. I can see why he would sue. I'm the only one that got out after how many 180 million
And it took
emails?
how long for Dan Snyder? I know he's an owner. It's a little different, but how long did it take y'all to get rid of him? Mm-hmm. You know?
It felt like it was.
Dan Snyder did a million different things.
It was
wrong.
a Kansas City shuffle. Everybody look over here while I make you look over here.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but the Saints are not in the market for a head coach. And that is not good. Because all the other ones and all the teams that were not very good, stinky, are no longer stinky. Texans are no longer stinky. The Browns actually have been pretty good.
And you have
The Dolphins are no longer stinky.
and if you just want to bring it even closer to home in the NFC South, you have visual confirmation of the Yacht Watchers, where Bill Belichick was on Arthur Blank's yacht, and they tracked his tail number.
Oh my God!
Not plane watchers, yacht watchers.
Yacht watching.
You're watching.
We're in the big leagues now, boys.
You're watching yachts. Yeah. I mean,
It's not a boat.
Bill Belichick trying to go back to Atlanta. That's not good for the Saints.
This is from Super Yacht Fan on Twitter, where it was spotted as Arthur Blank's yacht, where Bill Belichick was supposedly on it. Great yacht.
Great, man.
It's a good picture of Bill on the yacht too.
Yeah, where's Bill?
Really?
Doesn't matter. This is
Really
just-
give us confirmation.
So we know he's on there, right?
That's
How'd
Arthur
they
Blank's
see him?
yacht.
How'd they see him?
Saw him get on it
Oh,
When?
Journalism 101.
this weekend. So while the Saints are standing pat, Falcons are making waves.
Making moves. They got what, the 3
Making
pick?
waves.
4 pick?
Jaden Daniels.
What pick did the Falcons have? You don't know.
Yeah, really. 8th overall pick.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna get there. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Saints aren't gonna be a part of it. Bill Belichick, I don't know if he's gonna go to Atlanta, but maybe.
Bill Belichick
another job
confirmed.
that could be open.
Big Jaden Daniels fan.
Who?
Bill Belichick.
He is? How you know?
He came to the junior day when LSU was throwing, and he was apparently Stewart was there, and he said that Bill Belichick was watching Jaden Daniels very closely.
Well, maybe that was his way of saying maybe I can get him in a bargain.
And
You know,
now,
nobody knows. He knew
now
he
the
was good.
Heisman happened.
Now he's
But
no
if he
more
goes to a
bargains.
team with the 8th overall pick,
He ain't going 8. I don't think.
could
I don't think he's gonna fall to 8.
package deal. Desmond Ritter and Kyle
Ain't nobody
Pitts.
doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. But another team that may not have a coach, the Dallas Cowboys.
Man,
Mike McCarthy's out, huh? Has to be.
I got to be honest with you,
I
man.
mean, he's got to be gone, right?
Hey, after you watch what happened last night, what was it? They played the first game or the second game last night?
Second.
They played the first game because the Lions played the second
Oh,
game.
you're right.
Yes,
You're right.
yes,
You're right.
After
yes,
watching that game,
You just couldn't lose like that.
that was the only thing you couldn't do if you wanted pretty much everyone to be safe.
Right.
Pulled a Matt House.
And it was 27-0 before you could blink twice. I got to admit, man, it's crazy watching it because I feel like there is no team, and whether you call it fair, unfair,
Here we go.
whatever it is, there is no team in the NFL that has way more scrutiny and I can't wait to see you fail than there is the Cowboys. From week 1 to the end of the season, like the Cowboys hadn't won anything since the 90s. So let's stop acting like they've been the Warriors recently, saying like, hey, we'll see what they do when they get to playoffs. Yet, that's all we talk about.
It's the opposite.
That's all we talk about. They haven't won anything, and I gotta imagine, like, to me, in my mindset, I feel like that's come a lot from the public perception of what Jerry's built that team up to be. America's team, the richest team that there is in the league, one of the richest franchises that there is on the planet. All the scrutiny, him making all the decisions and everything, the microscope that them always being on TV, the microscope that team's under makes people think that they're just this like great winning organization, and they ain't been that for a while. And it is crazy to see they go into playoff games, and you literally saw a team just shrink. They haven't played. You haven't seen them look like that all year. They just shrink.
Done.
Biggest moment.
And
16 straight wins at home, playoff game, get blown out the gym.
so now when stuff like this happens, right? It happens over and over and over. Dak's is a franchise guy. You bring in Mike McCarthy. You have all this stuff, right? They start bringing out these stats that you're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Denver.
They're fine.
Dallas, different. Dallas, over their last, I guess Dak is 13-15 against teams that end the season with a winning record. So
Yeah.
when you get in the playoffs,
Yet they're 12-5 in the last 3 seasons in a row.
He's won
Right.
3 straight years of 12 wins for Mike McCarthy.
right, but 13 and
And they're
15,
gonna axe him.
13 and 15 against teams that have a winning record when it's all said and done. Not oh, you beat their 3-1
When you played
beat
them. Yeah.
No. End of the year, winning record, 13-15 against those teams. Now, when you get to the playoffs,
There we go.
you're only playing against those teams. There's no more of you're the 2-14 teams, like none of that. None of the like for a minute, their division wasn't very good. Now the Eagles have been good, but like the Giants stink, like the
whole
Commanders
NFC East
stink.
is not what you're
So
scared
like
of.
you have chances to win. That's 2. You're playing 4 games against those shitty teams, right?
Stacking wins.
So 13-15 against teams that end the season with a winning record. That's not great. Tells me you're not beating teams that or you quit for the playoffs.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Remember that Super Bowl where Brady came back from a 28-3 deficit to win? Who'd they play?
The Falcons.
Who's the head coach then?
Dan Quinn.
What's he doing right now?
Defensive coordinator.
Where at?
Dallas.
How'd they look yesterday?
Oh.
Not good. At all.
Backwards hat plays until it
It's crazy. It seems like it's all the same. It's unbelievable to me. I never seen anything like it. I wasn't expecting to turn on the game and watch them lose in that fashion. 16 straight at home. 16 ball games straight at home. And then you get blown out by for better or worse, like however you want to really call, by a rookie quarterback. Guy hadn't played, really.
And boy, has he been good.
Boy, he's been – I mean, it's
Last
looked
9
everything
games of
like
the
the
season.
second coming of Aaron Rodgers again, right?
He was playing out of his mind. And Dak Prescott was the opposite, where it looked like he had the yips.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do anything, and then when he got
CeeDee
down
Lamb
30,
is not having a good time. They're fighting the first drive of the
Caught
game.
in the headlights, just
And it's like, this ain't good. And listen, that comes down from your coach.
yeah.
Right? Obviously, I think Jerry realized I'm going to die soon.
he
Like,
keeps saying
Jerry
it.
is not going to be live for long. I mean, he's on the 19th hole of his career, his life. That's not me being morbid. That's just
Are you saying he started playing another round? That means he's got a long time.
maybe he has an E9. Maybe he's trying to do a little E9 in his career right now. But he understands, hey, I want to win another championship before I die.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really all he's focused on.
And Mike McCarthy's got to be fired here soon. And I would imagine that Bill Belichick's getting a phone call. You know what I mean? Like,
I would imagine he is too, but like, how's that go? Like, Bill's been the one that's done all that stuff in the past. How's that going to go? Jerry, is he really just going to go there and say, I'll just coach your team and let you talk and do everything about my team? I don't know. If that's
Speaking of, the Patriots came out and said they aren't hiring a GM until after the draft. They had the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Wouldn't you think that you want to hire a GM to connect them to the quarterback that they want to draft?
do?
Huh?
What's the GM do?
He's supposed to do the draft.
Feels like he'd be pretty tight into that.
That's and like, hey, like GMs are known for, hey, when I have an opportunity to pick a quarterback, quarterback stinks, GM's gone, right? That's just kind of the way it works. And so you have an opportunity for a GM to pick his guy and build around his guy, and you're not going to do it, which I don't know why. You wouldn't do that, but
Well, they haven't had to do the whole GM search for 20-plus
Right.
years, so they probably don't really understand.
I've been cracked up in the Rolodex.
What's it look like when one of those guys only does the GM job?
yeah.
Well, Bill did that.
Bill was doing all of that. I don't know how to go about this thing.
But yeah, I mean, Jerry's definitely, I think Mike McCarthy's done.
I would see the only way in which he stays is if that Bill Belichick doesn't make the call to go to the Cowboys, right? That would be the only reason you keep him.
Mike McCarthy?
Yeah.
No. I think you're right, Mike. No matter what. I think he's gone.
I think Jerry has one man circled, and
I think that's his guy, but I still think Mike's gone.
But there is a
What if you go get Jim? What if Harbaugh wants to go there?
Yeah, Harbaugh don't want to go there.
those two attitudes. That's what I'm saying. Like at some point, you do have to worry about. If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm not, but like Jerry Jones and Belichick, as Belichick would be like, yeah, dude, you take over the media. I don't want to do it anyway. So this is perfect, or is it the opposite, where it's like, get out of my bullshit. Like this is how I run a team. Don't call me. Don't talk to me, and don't talk about my football
Well,
team.
that's why you got Jim. Jim doesn't need to do all the other stuff. Jim just says, "Let me."
Well,
coach.
that's just two huge.
That's fine, but
personalities.
I think Jerry's got a little bit of
He can't. Don't circumcise the mosquito.
yeah, like he wants to do.
What?
I never heard of that before.
That's what he says. That's his saying.
Who says that?
Jerry.
Jerry Jones says that.
Don't make a
Mess.
Don't make a big deal out of a small deal.
Hard for me to believe that. Hard for me to believe that somebody like Jim and or Bill wants to be kind of overseen in a way that Jerry has overseen his coaches in the past, if that makes any sense. I don't see those two really conforming to that. I think that's you may love the guy, you may respect the guy, you may be friends with the guy, but a working relationship is also different as well. And I'm not sure those personas, those personalities, those styles work together in that scene.
Regardless of who they get, I do think Mike McCarthy's out.
I do think he's out too. Sadly, it's hard, right? And then that's the next thing you got. Who the hell wants to take a job where the last coach just won 12 games 3 years in a row? I get it, but once again, I go back to the same saying. Who the hell are we to say they're supposed to win in January?
Right,
they did it since the 90s.
What I was going to say is not only did he do that there and not win the postseason, he did that in Green Bay too. Right? He had that one Super Bowl early on in Green Bay.
With a pretty special guy playing quarterback.
Yeah, one of the greatest of all time, 4-time MVP there. And you couldn't win another one, and you were the big, hey, we're going to have a really good regular season. Yeah. 13 wins, 14 wins, 12 wins. Get to the postseason, host games, make it all the way to the NFC Championship game, lose out, go home, same thing over every year.
Yeah.
Then you got fired because they didn't think that you were able to get over the hump. Everybody's like, oh, my God, why would you fire him? Because he has all this success. You have all this the winningest coach in the whatever span. They go and hire LaFleur because that's, Aaron liked him, the whole deal, and they had kind of some ups and downs, but they still made some runs. They got rid of Aaron. Now they got this, and now the Packers feel like they're going to be – they got a lot of really young wide receivers, a really good young quarterback. You have A.J. Dillon there, and you have – I don't think that Aaron Jones is going to be there for much longer, but you still got Dillon. They have a lot of pieces around. The offensive line's better. So they got rid of Mike McCarthy. Then he goes to Denver. Dallas. Fuck. Why do I keep saying that? Do I want to go to Denver?
I think so. Just go.
I think I just need to go to Denver, I guess. But he goes to Dallas.
Denver.
And he does the same thing he did in Green Bay and Dallas. Win a bunch in the regular season, lose in the postseason.
And
not good.
To bring this to a local spin, if the Saints take care of business against Green Bay when you're up 21-0, you would have been probably
17-0.
17-0. You would have been in a situation where you possibly could have been facing the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs and win a playoff game. And
now, if you did beat,
you'd be playing tonight against Philly.
Yes. If you did beat Green Bay, you'd have won the division.
You'd have won the wild card.
No, you'd have won the division.
You would have won the division. You would have had a better record than the Bucs.
I thought.
Because the Bucs are 9-8, we were 9-8. You would have been 10-7. Bucs would have been 9-8. You go.
Not the tiebreaker.
No, the tie. Yeah, that's why we didn't win it.
That's why we lost the tie because we gave up a 17-point lead in Green Bay earlier in the year.
Yeah. So if you beat them, the game against the Bucs, when you beat the Bucs,
that would actually meant something.
It would have meant
that would have clinched.
Yeah. It would have. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Because they didn't play. Right? Yeah. Well, no. Who'd they play last game? They played the
Falcons.
No, they wouldn't have clinched then. Because they had one more.
No, we played the Falcons. They played the Panthers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you had to win out. But if you did what you did,
you would have won
save for
the
that
division.
One game.
Yeah.
If you would have done what you did, minus the blowing a 17-point lead with 10 minutes to go in the game, you're in the postseason.
If going into Week 18, the roles would have been flipped. The Bucs would have had to win, needed some help. Yep. The Saints would have just had to win, and you take care of all the business you need to take care of.
Exactly.
And the wild card picture is probably, I guess, a little bit different. I have no idea, but.
Either
I was
way.
just saying that there was a chance where you get to play spoiler against the Cowboys.
For sure.
Where that was a team that I feel like a lot of teams were probably feels fraudulent. You go into, I don't think anybody, even everything that you laid out, 16 straight, 17 straight wins at home, it still felt like whoever played the Cowboys had the best chance to provide an upset as a 7 seed against a 2 seed, and none of that felt fake.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see it. I really did. I didn't think we'd be seeing the Cowboys in Vegas as the NFC representative, but I did think
1 win,
16 straight. Outside of having to go to San Francisco, the road is going to have to come through AT&T Stadium. I was like, if it's ever set up for them to get back to an NFC championship and make a run, here it is.
I didn't see 48-32.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I didn't
the
see, and
32
it wasn't
is
even
generous.
that close. It wasn't even that close, right? Like 48-32.
No, it wasn't close at all. It was over before halftime, really.
So I didn't see that.
Jordan Love had to come back in.
Yeah, they took the starters out
Yeah,
in a playoff game
I know.
and put a rookie in, and then said, "Oh, okay, got a
Hold
little close,
on.
let me put him back in." But they still made that move, that's crazy.
Wild.
And that's
Like I mean, I didn't see that. Maybe an upset, not that.
And that's
now,
why you're having the conversation of Bill Belichick too at the Cowboys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or get Jason Garrett back.
No.
That man on my TV on Peacock.
I didn't get it. I didn't get Peacock.
Me
I
either.
wasn't even at the house.
Just know
to be
that
able to do it.
he's like the mainstay on there.
I tell you what, though, I was in the hotel room trying to watch the game. I was like,
Oh,
God damn it, it's on Peacock. And I'm in the hotel. I came in.
No chance.
Like, no shot of even down getting the app.
That's why he didn't get it, because if he was at home, fingers.
No,
would
remember
went.
I figured
Oh, you
out-
got it already at the
Remember,
crib.
I was like, yeah.
Yes.
And not paying for it, though. It's not mine. Someone else just kept it logged in on my TV. It was great.
Still is.
But in the hotel, they didn't have that. So I was like, I can't even watch it even if I wanted to. Brutal.
Best streams.
On a different note of football, well, you get a little pause of football. We're known. We like to remind ourselves that we are a show of the people, right? Show of LSU. We like to talk about a lot of things. My beautiful wife, was a LSU cheerleader in her day at LSU, and so I have been privileged with getting to watch competitions, dance competitions.
Why are you smiling?
Because it's really good. Cheerleading competitions, the whole deal. And so I have to.
You score 'em
announce
yourself?
this. I have to announce it, right? Like, LSU Tiger Girls have always been very good. Tiger Girls won national champions. It's another national championship banner that you hang up, put somewhere. I don't know where they put it at LSU. Like, I'm sure that's somewhere. National championship. They won the national championship in hip hop. They did a Michael Jackson Thriller. It was actually very, very, very good.
A lot of crotch grabbing. But I guess that's what MJ did.
I mean, that's what MJ did. You watched it?
Oh shit, it's fire.
It's actually very good. They won the national championship. They were the number one team. They won nationals in the hip hop division, and they came out third in the jazz, which also was very good. The cheerleaders, also in the competition, came out fifth in the cheerleading competition. I think that was the highest finish that the cheerleaders have had in like 10 years or however long it was. So I want to give a shout out to. They're not called the Spirit Squads anymore, right? Are they?
Tiger Girls?
The squads. Shout out to the cheerleading and dance squads at LSU for performing and representing LSU and at nationals the way they did. So shout out. Let's give a little shout out to that.
Got signed. It's Jack Merrifield's girlfriend. Signed to the G team. After the
Oh,
announcement.
that's Jack Merrifield's girlfriend? Mm-hmm. Look, you win championships, she signs to the G team.
Dara Hadet.
That's what happens. Right? Everybody likes winners. Little FBI
Not watching this.
Little FBI show going on or what? The game's not over, right?
It's over. They just had Mike Tomlin walked off the podium with reporter started a question with, "You have 1 year left on your contract, correct?" And he walked off the podium.
Wow.
And Mike Tomlin does not do that. He's one that usually is very stoic in his demeanor and takes press
Would you like Mike
conferences.
Tomlin in New Orleans?
Oh my God.
What? What kind of question is that?
I mean, I'm just.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's not even a what?
Hell yeah, I would.
You get Dennis Allen.
You think he's fixed the locker room problem?
What?
Goal.
I think he'd be fine. I think it'd be good.
You think you get the players on board?
Stop parking over there and park over here.
Think Cam Jordan will like it?
Think Tyrann Mathieu would like it?
You think the boys will play a little hard?
Think so.
Think New Orleans would like him?
Think he'd fit in there?
Maybe.
You think the culture he brings to the team would fit the culture of Louisiana and New Orleans?
The culture is the culture.
I think so. I think a lot of people would think so. I think a lot of people would love for that to happen. I think Mike Tomlin would love playing a donut, playing snow.
We cut our olives
Actually, I don't know
off.
if he like that. Actually, I think he likes the snow. I think he likes the.
He likes the grit.
He likes to be. He likes that part, no doubt.
A little too much.
He can make grit out of sunshine, though. So
He cuts his eyelids off so he doesn't blink. That's a quote.
That's his quote. Mm-hmm. Great coach.
Great coach.
Could be in the free agent pool of all coaches that Saints will not go after.
Just run it back and go 8-9 again. Who cares?
Mediocrity.
Still print money.
Mediocrity. The next game's at 7:15. Are you going to take the props?
I am taking the Eagles right now at money line.
what do you got in that game? What do you got? Eagles and what else?
What's the line?
I have Eagles right now.
You take a
It's
money line.
3.
Though.
Yeah, but I'm going to take it money line at -160, and then DeAndre Swift over 60.5.
You're not taking any of the props.
That's where I got it from. I got the DeAndre Swift prop from
You're
him.
just taking one. There's 3.
I'm just taking the one. Because it's late. They change.
Have you even
And I
checked to
just
see if they
lost-
changed?
I just lost one.
Just now?
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you lose?
The receptions.
Oh, Warren reception.
So
How many
once-
did you get? Did you only
once
have
I
one?
lose one, I'm out.
You only had that one?
Yep.
Yeah, but that's not a good way to go. You can't just go one game. You got to go.
I've got a system here that I'm trying to get to 3K. We're at.
You don't listen to me. I'm not anywhere near 3K. So I should listen to you.
It's okay.
I'm not disciplined enough in my gambling to keep my system. I don't have a system.
Got a
Flying by
system.
the-
It's called
just
$10.
flying.
I don't have
$10 at a
system.
time.
I don't have one of those.
6-leg teaser loses 5 out of 6. It's brutal. It's okay.
That's tough.
I thought the weather was going to be worse. They should have let me void it because of. Thought they were going to play on Sunday. They moved the game. They should have taken the bet out. That's on Caesars. It's not
They didn't
on
let
me.
you void it?
I thought it was going to be like nasty, so I just took the under because how can you move? And turns out
For the
we're just going to
Bills
move
game.
the entire game.
For the Bills game. Mm-hmm. And it went over.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And you lost that money.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't void it.
6-leg teaser. That was the last leg.
And that was the only one you lost.
Mm-hmm. 5 out of 6.
Wow, what would you have won?
I think it was.
What were the odds? You don't tell me how much you bet. What was the odds?
It was plus 350.
Oh, that's nice. That would have been nice.
And it would have been nice, but it's not now.
And now it's 0.
There goes $5.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Trust
the
me.
road to 3K, like, I can't say anything, but think about it if you would just bet a little bit more.
Oh, I'd have to like get taxes or something.
You'd be doing well.
I'd have to talk to somebody.
I mean, you'd have, even if you just double with your bets, you'd make it $6,000 instead of $3,000.
Could you imagine?
I mean, yeah. It's not. I'm not asking you to bet $100 either. Like, hey, you bet $10 at a time. Okay, now let's bet 20.
You know how many times I've put in 20 and knocked it down to 10 again? I'm like, ooh.
Lloyd's not a presser.
No, he's not.
He won't press.
And he doesn't trust himself. Lloyd's not confident in his gambling skills.
Well, I just want to be able to keep doing it.
Lloyd's the guy that would sit at a blackjack table and hit 10 hands in a row and still be sitting at the minimum that he started with. Mm-hmm. Be like, oh, I'm winning, stay here. You're like, bro, you just missed out on.
You got the hottest table in the world, and you won $300. You could have won $30,000.
I think about it a lot, but I just can't let it. The system is the system. The culture is the culture.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
Just leave all that on the table.
I'm pretty pumped.
Because as soon as I change,
Yeah.
it's gonna flip.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
All right. Be you.
yeah, not trying to circumcise a mosquito.
Yeah, don't do that.
Sure.
I am looking forward to, actually, baseball season coming up because
Yeah.
Do you see this Cam Johnson story?
about why he came to LSU. Mm-hmm. So I talked to a scout like the other day. The guy I told you, the guy who scouted me out of high school.
Oh yes.
And he was telling me a story about Cam. He was like, basically what the article said was they were very, very strict on their number, which is what you want people to do. Right? When you just decide to say, I'm going to pick a number, and this is what I would sign for, and I'm not going to go for anything less than that. A lot of guys kind of waver at the end of the time, like, oh, okay, I'm going to go for $3 million. Hey, all we can give you is 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. All right.
2.8's the last number.
Whatever. I'll take the 300,000 less. But the ones who say no, this is my number, not a dollar less than the number. That's what That's what he did. And they didn't hit the number, and he went to school. And what other part of the story are you talking about?
I just felt like y'all have probably had similar situations in which, because I've heard y'all talk about people going to the draft or not going to the draft and how this whole thing works. And it is a lot. Very rarely do you see somebody commit to a number and stick to it. And even in that story that was written, it was a lot of like, are we sure? Like, we're firm on this? And his dad was like, yeah, like it was tough to go to bed, but we also knew what we were worth. And then you saw some of his high school buddies get drafted. He's like, I should be getting drafted too. But the way that it went down, if you don't, like, I think it's a testament to his character to be like, look, I know what I'm worth. If you're not going to get there, then I'll go to school. And for people to call your bluff, essentially, and then be like, I'm good with it, I think is awesome.
No doubt.
And it obviously works out for LSU because Jay Johnson's quoted in here going, I'd never thought he would come here.
No, of course not.
Like,
I mean, you have a left-handed pitcher throwing upper 90s out of high school. That doesn't happen. Like, those guys don't come to school. He gets to come to school. Now you get to ease him in there because you don't have to force him into a Friday role. So you get to ease him into a situation where he can succeed and dominate, kind of build some confidence, see how it goes, and then end up becoming a starter and then being potentially the first overall pick in the draft in 2025, right? Because that's the type of talent he's got. You don't get that. You got Paul Skeens coming here to transfer. Now, Paul wasn't him coming out of high school, right? Paul wasn't the same as Cam Johnson coming out of high school. But he transferred here, and he's like, okay, this guy's a potential to be a top 10 pick. Ended up being number 1 overall. Dylan Cruz probably shouldn't have been on campus. You got him to come here. But pitchers, especially left-handed pitchers, is a little bit different. So now you get this kid here, and he's not supposed to be here, and ends up coming here, has a chance to dominate. Very, very likely could be the number 1 overall pick in 2025.
how do you think that they use him this year?
I think they use him in the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah, reports I got is that the fastball is super electric. Really,
And not just fast, like
no, electric. Like
Yeah.
it's explosive. And you know, the biggest thing that especially for kids to come here is you find a lot of guys who have good arms and or good command. They're usually good at like one thing, right? It's will he be able to find that second thing? For somebody like Paul Skeens on his way out was able to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things, right? Like that's hard to do. So, all right, the fastball is that electric. Can he land and often throw a breaking ball? That's what we want to see. And if he's able to do that, yeah, just because of the depth that they already have, I would imagine being able to put that kind of electric arm at the back end of the bullpen would be something that's pretty enticing for him. So it'd be that's what I'm looking for, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the beauty of it is they don't have to have him in the starting rotation right now.
Right.
They have enough people. They have depth.
Able to ease him in, able to
Yeah.
not really build up so many innings on him and have to put so much pressure on him early in. I think it's, a great spot for him.
Do you think he gets to a point where he's so dynamic out the bullpen that he gets a couple of spot starts, maybe either it be midweek or is it
Depends. I don't. Here's where I think his route into the weekend rotation would be, if you see those guys scuffle, right? Like those guys are slated to be wherever they're slated to be for a reason, right? So unless you see him, I wouldn't want to take an arm like that. That's say he's really excelling at the back end of the bullpen and he's giving you wherever that is in the back end of the bullpen and he's giving you shut down innings in those spots. Why? Outside of other guys not performing, why would you want to move that? Because those innings are super important in college as well, right? So if that's where he starts, I would imagine without some other scuffling going on, that's where he stays. And I would hope, too.
Let me ask you this, Jay. Whenever you were coming up and you played against David Price, right? David Price's first year, was he a starter or was he the closer?
I don't know. When I was here, it was his draft year.
Okay, so I don't know. I didn't know that answer. So, but I know the answer for Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray's freshman year, he was the closer, throwing 99 miles an hour as a super freshman. He's the closer. Next year starter, first rounder, gone.
Yeah.
Right? LSU tried to do it this year with, or last year with Shore, or was it this year? With Chase Shore. Back in the bullpen, had some starts, but like kind of a bullpen guy. And then was going to put him as a starter and do what he needed to do. My point saying is there's a lot of times Carson Fulmer at Vandy, did the same thing. Closer, starter, first rounder. So a lot you see it happen a lot where these guys that throw really hard that are young go in the back into the bullpen and they develop and they learn how to pitch at the college level that way. Where they say, okay, here, you're going to dominate. You throw 99 miles an hour and you're nasty. You only need 2 pitches. Go out there, get 1 or 2 innings, and then we'll start progressing you to become a starter the next year or whatever.
Zach Hess.
Zach didn't have as much success as a starter.
Right, but I'm saying that was that same kind of career arc of bullpen, like electric coming out. Okay, let's give him the opportunity to start. It didn't work, I would say, as well as probably people had hoped, but it's that same thing where you're dominant out the bullpen, give him a chance to be a Friday, Saturday guy.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it's an embarrassment of riches for LSU this year on the pitching staff and like the depth of the pitchers. Listen to me.
We need to talk
This
to
same scout.
Yeski.
We do. This same scout that I was talking to, right, that I knew, I asked him about the staff and I asked him about, I was like, look, tell me about this Aiden Moffitt. I know he was at LSU and I know he was there last year. He was like, his problem last year just didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, only 1 ball.
And now he's throwing the ball over the plate. He's like, not only does he throw 98 miles an hour, but the ball moves like this much. He goes, he's going to break so many bats in pro ball. And I'm like, well, that is great to hear because, like, that's a whole different dynamic of a guy that you don't really have. It's just they have so many guys that do so many different things. If you look at the way Tampa Bay Rays construct their pitching staff, I'm not saying LSU has this because they don't have all the arm angles. Tampa will create
Da Vinci Code.
This is no joke. Tampa will have both sides of the mound do this. Have a sidearm guy, 3/4 guy, up, and then have different things. So like they get you at all angles, right? And these guys do something specific. Now this is professional baseball, so it's a little different. But my point in saying this is LSU's got the ability to pitch you a bunch of different ways. They can blow by you with
cheese.
Yeah, just absolute fuel. Or they can saw you off with hard sink. They can pitch you to death with gauge jump throwing 90 to 94 with nasty stuff.
Nasty Nate.
Right? You have Ackenhausen who's going to be able to pitch you to death. He's going to make you kind of be patient and not chase. You have Thatcher who has explosive stuff, but he has 3 or 4 different pitches. And you got Holman who is projected to be the better of all 3 of the starters. So it's like you have 10 lefties.
You literally have the ability for it to be a much better staff than it was last year. And I personally think
more complete.
I personally think the staff that you had last year was more complete than the numbers show. People just don't realize how big of the loss is that they had were, right? If you're able to keep this staff pretty healthy throughout the year, I think you may see some of the best pitching numbers that we've kind of seen come through this LSU program in a while.
And this is a bold take.
1,000-yard.
Yeah, this one's. I think this one's gonna be a little more realistic than a 1,000-yard tight end. The day and age of baseball right now has changed a little bit, so I'm gonna have a higher projection of this. But what Oregon State did over there when Yeski was there, and had ERA, team ERA under 2. You could see something like that happen this year in Baton Rouge. And listen, it's the SEC. You have deep offenses. Maybe a team ERA at under 3, 2.5.
There you go. That was my only take back was that. I was like, and there's nothing. Look, there's some really good baseball played on the West Coast, without a doubt.
It's more offensive.
But the SEC is what it is, right? And I would say because Nate was there, the talent you got here, but also the talent that's in the league. That's why I said some of the best numbers you've seen out of an LSU staff and maybe in the conference in a while. Under 2 is unbelievable. Yeah. And it's almost goofy to even think that there was a staff that's able to do that.
Right.
But I do think the talent on this staff as a whole it's special. It really is.
A team ERA under 3, mid 2s, That's very good.
What do you think the team ERA was last year?
5.
4.47.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
It's actually lower than I thought it was
Yeah, I
as a
thought
team.
it was about 5, 4.5.
and they scored 8 a game. So
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah.
that's what I was going to get.
Do
to
I
for
think they're
you.
going to score 8 a game? No.
No.
They can score 6 a
Hey,
game.
you'd be hard pressed to find an offense do what they did last year again.
Yeah.
As a whole.
I think they can score 6 a game, though, eventually. You know what I mean? I think they're going to score differently, but I think they can score 6 a game.
You'd be hard pressed to find an offense do what they did last year in back-to-back years.
Yeah.
You know, like when you have an offense that can do that, there's the chances of a lot of those guys not moving on to the next level is slim to none. And then obviously to be able to repeat it again the next year is tough. Now that doesn't mean I think they're going to lose. I just think you're going to see a lot more. They're going to play differently this year. You're not going to see them slug it out with everybody. You're going to see them move runners. You're going to see them have guys that can run. I do think that's going to happen a little bit more with this team. But I think the bread and butter in this team is being able to keep you at a low number, and then they're going to beat you on the other side of it.
And I think that's probably, I guess this is our job as the official baseball podcast of the LSU baseball team, unofficially official, is to kind of change your mindset and expectation of what you see from the baseball team as opposed to last year. Like, it's going to look different,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Yeah, we did it. We did it last year. We kind of we put everyone on notice last year, saying, "Hey, I get it. You haven't been very happy with how some of the stadium operations are. Maybe not the outcomes of the past couple years. We're just letting you know.
Weather delays.
Not only on this team, but the teams that were going to be coming into Baton Rouge and or playing LSU. It is some very special talent. You should probably get out there and go see them this year.
Yeah, because
last year.
It's a privilege to be able to watch. I mean, like, how much fun was it to watch Dylan Cruz and those guys? Like, obviously, you were going to do that regardless because the hype was going to be there. But no going in, like, let's start off strong, right? This year's going to be the same thing. The only thing that matters
They're gonna
for
win
LSU
differently.
is wins,
Yeah.
right? How you get to that win
Don't care.
could happen a whole bunch of different ways, right? Every year it could be different. One year you get smash the shit out of it. The other year nobody can hit
Pitch the
anything.
shit out of it.
Right? Nobody can hit anything. One year you can do both really good. One year you may do them average, but you just somehow can manufacture runs. There's different ways to win, right? Different ways to get to that, to accumulate wins and make the postseason. And what you got to do. This year's going to be one of those years. It's going to be a pitching heavy team early. I think the offense is going to end up coming on late, and you're going to see them play their best baseball towards the end of the year because these guys are going to get more experience. They're going to have more at bats. The Bucs are trying to drive first drive and score a touchdown.
I think the offense is actually going to be good.
Me too.
I just don't think you're going to see the home run totals that they had last year, even though they still have a Tommy White and even though they still have a Hayden Travinsky and even though they still have guys like that on the team. But I do think that the addition to Mac Bingham, the addition of Jake Brown, the addition of guys being able to run, putting those guys in those situations and letting them use their legs, that's where I think this team becomes different than what you saw last year. And I don't think they're just going to beat your brains in, but I think they're going to be able to put up runs. It's just not going to look the same.
You're going to see more of sustained offense. In
No
a sense
rally
of,
killers.
You're gonna see guys get on base, a couple hits, and then a bases clearing double, or a 2-run double, or
Keep the
a
carousel
single
going.
here with an RBI single, and then a 2 runs, 2 innings later, a 2-run RBI single, or whatever it is, right? And you're gonna see that, and as the season starts to progress, and as these guys start to get more comfortable, you're going to see some of those doubles end up going over the fence a little bit more. And obviously, Tommy White's going to do his thing, no doubt, right?
24 Yabos last year.
You're not going to know what the offense really is going to look like until Tommy is in there right now. Like when they get back to start practicing and stuff, you're not going to know what the offense looks like until he's back in the middle of that lineup because he makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? Changes the whole lineup with him there. And so you're going to have these guys, and you're going to have young guys are going to need to step up. Paxton Clean's going to have to step up, right? Bear Jones is going to have to step up and be that guy that he started to become last year, has to make that next step. Mac Bingham, like you said, is a huge addition because he gives you experience in the lineup. You have Pearson's going to be at second. He's been playing really good a second. I think a big shock or a big surprise that maybe nobody's going to be talking about is Braswell. I think Braswell is going to end up being a guy, because you know how good he is defensively, but I think he's going to end up being a little bit more offensive than people thought when they got him, right? And then obviously you have Travinsky, who's going to play some first, some DH. And you got Milazzo, who hopefully all he needs to do is continue to do what he did last year.
Brady Neal.
Get hits, timely hits, and just play really good behind the plate. You're going to have some pieces just going to look. You're not going to have 140 home runs.
Yeah, like you got to remember, man. Like you had Bear, who had a ton of home runs last year, especially 3/4 of the season. You had Tommy do what he did. You had Trey hit more homers than he's ever hit. You had
Dugas.
Dylan hit the homers that he hit. You had Dugas hit the homers that he hit. Last year, it was almost as if every game you could wait on the 5-run inning coming from 2 long balls. I don't think that that's what you'll see this year. I'm not saying the 5-run innings are out of there, and maybe you may get 1 3-run homer and then the single, and a double that'll get them in. That's what I think you'll see more of this year, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But that's what I think you'll get from this team.
I'm wondering, because you mentioned Paxton Kling. I feel like that's a lot.
You've been waiting for us to get in this baseball conversation, huh?
Dude, we're here.
We're here.
We're close to
We're
30
a month
days.
away.
Yeah. But I feel like from what you saw last year and how much they entrusted Paxton Kling early on in the year, where he was your leadoff hitter, first game of the year as a true freshman, I feel like it's going to be kind of, I don't want to say make or break, but a lot of the success might ride on him. And I think you'll get success in other places, but you're kind of waiting for somebody to take that superstar role, because look at even last year when you had a Dylan Cruz and a Paul Skeens and everybody that was on that roster, and you still had to play every baseball game you could to win a national championship.
Right.
And now you don't have Dylan Cruz, but you have talent, but it is not the same. And that's where you kind of have to – that's why I'm bracing LSU fans for when you see how they manage the pitching staff, and there's going to be a lot of mound visits, there's going to be all of these things that are a little different than last year. Trust the man who got you there.
Yeah, and you're gonna listen. You don't have a Skeens, like you don't have a guy, and I'm not saying you don't have a guy who can't go top 5 overall, because that's not the case. You do.
But Skeens was automatic.
You have Skeens. You have a guy who in college is a major league starter while he's in college.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
You don't have
unfair.
that. You know what I mean? Like Skeens was a number 3 starter in my mind in the big leagues while he was pitching in college.
But we didn't know that opening day either.
No, we didn't.
That's a crazy part. Like we didn't.
You knew he was really good. You just didn't know.
You knew he was really good, and you kept seeing it week in and week out, but it took – let's be truthful about it. It took a good 3 weeks into the SEC play where you're like,
Okay.
all right, this is really real, right? So, like, even Skeens, like, we didn't know you were going to get the top end of what you got there. And I think that's, that's a big difference of what you got.
Agreed.
And I don't think you're going to get, like you said, another Skeens, but you could have somebody on this
Listen,
rotation that is
Thatcher-
legitimate Friday.
Listen,
Thatcher has an opportunity to be a top
Hey,
20 pick in the draft.
just
15
put
pick
it
in
like
the
this.
draft.
What you saw from Skeens was great. But if you don't get Skeens and you got Aaronola, Kevin Gosman, you got some of those performances, I think you'd be okay if you got that. I think you'd be okay. And that's what Thatcher has the ability to do. Right. So thinking that you have to be Paul Skeens or put up those numbers, get it out. Just go ahead. Let's go ahead and put that on the side, and let's go. Don't expect to see that anytime soon.
There's ways to have really productive, really good numbers, Paul Skeens numbers, without being Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
It could be 2 or 3 guys that do it.
Right. Well, and it's
That like
you
put it
don't-
together. I'm talking
Yes.
about. It's not going to be 8 innings of shove.
Yeah.
Right. And like, look, if Thatcher goes out there every Friday and gives you 6 innings and strikes out 9 guys, that's great. That's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, he has a sub-3 ERA, unbelievable.
Two innings of Nate, then 1 inning of Cam.
You know, you have those guys. Him, Holman, all those guys are projected first, second rounders.
Moffitt.
Holman and Thatcher are projected first round, top into the first round type guys. So like, you're gonna have that.
Ty Floyd just had to go and strike out 17, didn't he?
I'm gonna be honest. I legit don't even want to. I don't even want to name guys on the staff because there's only one ball, and I really want to see how it folds out and how these guys start playing and how they're starting to be used and how long they let them go. Like they have so many legitimate arms, more than I've ever seen or ever heard of on one staff. How are you going to use them? Right. How are they going to how are you going to piece them together to make sure they get outs? How are you going to keep them all happy? That's what we want to see because the names are out there, and there's only 3 balls. There's only 1 ball. There's only 3 really weekend starters, right? Where else is it going to go? Who's
Yeah.
going to get the rest of the outs? How are they going to use them?
And that's the difference between football and baseball, right? For when fans start transitioning to the baseball season, it's okay to let this thing play out for 2 months, where you get your rotation set and where people are
And
comfortable.
you still want to win. It just may not look in
It's never set in stone until it is.
2 months from where it starts.
Where was
gonna-
Josh Pearson at the beginning of the year?
Right, on the bench. You're going to look at things differently. Things are going to happen. Like, as long as you can manage to get some wins early and just get through it. And
Figure
you
it
start.
out.
And hopefully, day one, you would love for day one, that's your 3 starters, and they're going to shove the whole year. That'd be
Nobody
awesome.
gets hurt. It's
hard to do
perfect.
it.
That's very hard to do. Usually that doesn't happen unless you have 3 guys who have been there for multiple years and unless they get hurt. You know what I mean? But if they're healthy and they're veterans,
And
those are the guys.
And you do have guys that are, once again, like coming off surgery again. Like
Yep.
that's
The year we won it, the guy that made the 3rd most starts on our team, not due to talent, wasn't even on the active roster when we were in Omaha. He was hurt. Chris Matulis.
True.
Like,
True.
so
Find
the
him.
idea of stuff like that happening, like those guys, hey, well, this is how we wrote it out first weekend, and that's how it's going to be at the end of the year. That's not probably going to happen.
Right.
It's just probably not going to
It's
happen.
just war of attrition sometimes. You get
Yeah.
hurt. Things don't pan out. Maybe the guy's not throwing really well. Like,
Riley
hey,
Cooper
listen,
got
let's
to
not
sleep.
forget, like, Little. I know people didn't like the way he pitched last year, but he's still on the team.
Hey, got you some valuable innings in Omaha.
Talented arm is still a talented arm, man.
And
And you
he-
just never know when it can click.
They say, like, maybe Yeski's the guy who kind of gets it right? Like, pitching is baseball, especially on the pitching side, is a one position and one sport where
When
a
it does
coach-
this,
and a coach matters to that guy.
Yeah.
If it somehow clicks to that guy, and he can relate to this guy better, and it clicks,
yeah.
they can take off. And so, like, he had a good fall. He did. I think he pitched really well against UL when they had that scrimmage against them.
And
So
the ceiling is the roof, so you know.
ceiling is the roof. So you still have that guy. So, like, my point is, you have not only do you have talent, you have experienced talent that.
I mean, and don't forget, whenever he was, I mean, obviously it fell off at the end, right? Like what you saw from Cam Little, it felt like nobody trusted him that was watching. But early on, especially at the beginning of SEC play, he was electric. Like
Yeah.
whenever he has the slider working, the fastball working, like he's somebody that's viable to see. And I know he is not a fan favorite at the moment, but you're going to see 99 tried out there a lot.
When he
Puts it together.
Yeah, I mean, when he started looking, he just never found it again through the rest of the year. But yeah, I don't think anyone could argue about that. When he was throwing well at the beginning of the year, you didn't sit here and were not very confident when he took the ball. He looked good early on in the year.
Right.
His goal now is to be able to carry that throughout a season.
Tell you what, though, this January and early February before the season starts sucks
But they're practicing. They're going to practice.
because of this.
Yeah, they
right.
get to
They're starting
practice in this
now.
tomorrow.
Huh?
Because of this weather. Well, they ain't practicing tomorrow, Coach.
No, they get to practice tomorrow.
School's canceled.
They're practicing.
Don't they have to cancel practice because if school gets canceled? I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
I'll
They
do
can go on their own.
Optional.
Yeah, they can go on their own, but they ain't gonna have they can't have the coaches and stuff out there. I don't think. But January and February sucks, man. The weather is so brutal.
You go double sleeve,
Yes.
parka.
I mean, normally when it's this cold, you ain't practicing outside. It's just not gonna. You're just not doing it.
Old school, high school in the gym.
Well, you go hit in the cages, is what you do, and the pitchers throw the bullpens in there.
Gets real
Like,
loud.
You ain't playing unless it's 40, you're out. But 32 degrees less than that, you ain't practicing. No shot.
My fingers hurt.
No shot. But it's getting close, and we're gonna be out there.
Does this happen every year?
What?
Like whenever baseball.
Every year. January, middle of January to the middle of February. It's the coldest time of the
Then
year.
about probably the week to start the game, you'll get, oh, look at this great weather. And then usually opening night is 42 with 17-mile-an-hour wind,
Yeah,
kind of
and
misty.
And if you got good weather opening night, the
Don't-
rest of the month's gonna suck. It's just brutal.
Hot hands.
Hot hands,
You need more.
heaters,
A couple of them.
jackets.
Yeah. Frequent
Don't
visits
go
to the
on-
bathroom.
Don't go on deck circle until you absolutely have to go on the on deck circle.
Yeah.
All those things. Brutal.
Whiskey.
Not
Jesus
really doing
Lord.
the whiskey.
Did you see that? Put it in the.
In high school.
The
I mean,
group
in college.
Oh,
In college. do some whiskey in professional baseball.
Did you see that story I sent?
Yes, I mean, duh.
Yeah, it's not a shock to me.
I mean, honestly, I won't say names. I've played with pitchers. He said they weren't playing. I have played with pitchers who drank while they pitched.
I've known a couple to do it.
That would be why not?
Like, they'd have it, they'd sit down, they would drink, and they would pitch. They would drink, and they would pitch. They would drink, and they would pitch. Not many of those guys did that, but
well, the name
when
he
you're not
referenced,
pitching, when you're not pitching, and you're
I'm
a
literally
starter,
not going to do anything.
like, I'm gonna drink a beer, no doubt. You've done all your workouts, you've run, you've done everything you need to do.
I'm
and
not
now
playing.
You showered and you're ready to go, and you have turfs on in your jacket, and you're spitting seeds, and you're throwing seeds on people, and you're drinking.
I'd head down
No
to the
doubt.
bullpen and see what they're doing.
No doubt. AJ Brzezinski's seen a lot. So
Well, that was where the story came from. I think it was Mark Burley who wasn't supposed to pitch, and then he got thrust into action. He was like, "Oh, had a couple. Guess I'll start."
that's okay.
Warming
But he
up.
threw well too.
Yeah.
Mark Burley was a gamer.
Yeah, Mark Burley's the
God,
best.
he's
That's
a
who I hit
gamer.
my first homer off of. Was Mark Burley.
Oh, and he was hammered. Doesn't count.
Maybe. Try to get that 86-mile-an-hour cutter on my hand. Didn't do it. Couldn't get it there.
Cut it in cut.
It cut. It just didn't cut enough.
Cut just the right amount.
Right into the loop, baby.
Thank you.
Right into the loop. But we're excited, man. We're pumped for baseball season. It's been a long time. We had a good football season. Obviously, you go through at December. We're in the playoffs. We're still going to talk playoffs, and the Super Bowl's coming up. But baseball season is here. And we're going to have a lot of conversation about baseball season. Jay's going to start coming on. In fact, Jay's coming on the show on Wednesday. So put it in your calendars. Mark it down. Jay Johnson starts coming on the shows on Wednesday.
Set the reminders.
We will have a conversation with him, and we're going to continue to go. I think on Fridays before the season, maybe Dougie. Me and Dougie talked today about him always coming on
Let's
every
do
Friday.
this. Okay.
Every Friday having a segment before previewing the weekend.
Louisiana Firefighters Association.
Louisiana Firefighters Association from him. Him sit in studio, talking the game, doing what we need to do, and then, listen, baseball season, we're baseball.
I'm fired up.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot more tailgates. We're going to have Heineken Silvers flowing, right?
Maybe a little
Light beer, 95 calories, 4% alcohol, not
95% alcohol.
95% alcohol would be a crazy beer. That'd be whiskey.
That thing will take you to the moon.
We're
Never
going to
mind,
have
I
that
can't
flowing.
pitch.
We're going to have food flowing, working on some food sponsors. Like, we got some things cooking right now. Baseball season, and here's the deal. Baseball season, we start having a good thing. That leads into football season. We just do a bunch of things. But baseball season is going to be a
One pitch at a time.
big season. Big year. We're excited to have it go through it again. Last year was a fun ride. This year, another fun ride. SC tournament was great. Omaha was great.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Great.
Yeah. So,
Omaha again.
we got some things.
For you.
Yeah, we got some things. Looking forward to it.
I hope they give me a press pass again.
I think we'll be able to get them. But, okay. What else we got? Nothing? Men's basketball got knocked back down to earth.
Women's basketball.
Women's
We have
basketball
to
got
restart
knocked.
the streak. Sorry, Joey. He texted us, was down. I did not help. I don't think.
He was down bad.
I think I ribbed when I shouldn't have ribbed.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Hey,
He'll get over it. The streak ended.
we'll start again.
Or does it mean maybe he takes a break? I don't know.
It's up to him.
It's up to him. Maybe he's superstitious. Maybe he's going to take one. Maybe not come on the next one. Win. Let's get back on your feet if you need to. It's okay.
He's got 10 days till the biggest game of the year. And Caitlin
Yes.
Clark keeps doing stuff at Iowa.
I mean, she was never going to not do stuff.
Just saying.
Bucs are up 10-0 on the Eagles.
I thought Baker was hurt. I thought Baker was bad, Jared.
What did he do here? What did he do here? A little rub route. Little rub, like the definition of a rub route. And it wasn't cheating. They rubbed each other. They ran into each other.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire. Yeah, big loss.
Thank you.
What? I was joking.
Hey, yo.
I was going along with you.
Hey, camaraderie.
Camaraderie. That's how it works. Just got
But-
real close.
Got real close.
Bumped uglies.
It's like you in the paint.
Moon landing. Huh?
What? What? Big loss for the women Tigers. I think it'll be good for them.
And the way he put it said good for us.
I think it'll be good for
And
them.
I think it's good for them and because of what is on the horizon to where you don't get too big for your britches. You got
Work
South
harder,
Carolina reset.
a little bit more
we're
fire.
not infallible.
They got a lot of younger girls on that team, man.
Here's
Like,
the deal.
you know.
You go and you win. You do it at the end of the year. You do what you need to do. You'll be where you need to be, and that's what it comes down to. So, men's basketball plays again on Wednesday night against Ole Miss at home. Ole Miss is 15-1.
Oh.
Yeah, they're good. So, another opportunity for the men's basketball team to.
You'll be
have a
there,
big
huh?
win. We'll be at our show here in the studio, so we'll not be there. But we have that going on, and that's really all we got. The rest of the show, we got the rest of playoff football, division series weekend today, and then you just move on to the divisional round.
If Philly loses this
Wild
game
cards.
to the Bucs, do they fire?
That's a rumor, right? They're
It's
getting
out
rid
there.
of Nick Sirianni if they lose.
I don't think it happens, but I do think there's a little more conversation
Went
to
to
it,
the
a
Super Bowl
little more
last
smoke
year.
to it. I think they'll give him the opportunity, especially being that both of those coordinators moved on. I don't think it happens.
Going 10-1 and then losing 5 of the 6.
After he was barking at the camera.
Yeah, that's not good. We'll see.
Little,
All right.
little humble pie.
Little humble pie.
Delicious.
Let's get to the seggies. Why don't we?
Why don't we?
Mistake of the Day is brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place. What we got today, Lloyd?
The mistake of the day. I don't know how many people didn't see this, but a tale as old as time. Skip Bayless versus Trash Can. He has the automatic can, which I didn't even know existed, but it's on a timer. So if you're unfamiliar with Skip's game, he is quick to throw everything away. Then I guess he pulls it out the trash because he's done this. This is the 3rd year in a row where he throws away the jerseys and the shirts into the trash
I
can.
couldn't be more off Skip.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is a
well,
brand new
don't-
trash can or trash bag.
And I guess he makes Bernadine.
Smart trash can.
Bernadine has to film it.
Smart trash can.
Yeah, no, wasn't. He wasn't very smart enough.
He was not
dealing
being
with it,
very
yeah.
smart. Backsplash, wild backsplash. Don't love the backsplash.
I've seen a better one.
Good shape though.
Is he? Just got to look at it too to make sure it's a Cowboys.
Uh-huh. Look at this battle. More Cowboys. Oh, it is.
You got it.
Damn it.
Trash can was dominating them.
And they had to fix it.
Yep, yep, it's Cowboys. Yep, let me make sure.
All right, we got it. We see it.
Oh,
Oh,
damn it.
Again.
okay, and then one more time. Yep. Oh, and it's down. That was a quick trigger by the trash can right there.
Trash can knew what was going on at this point. Said he didn't want to be a part of it.
He tried to like, okay,
Make sure we get it.
hurry up, and Michael on C Lamb,
And
up
there
and down, almost. He's missed.
This one you just got to break the trash can, right? Like it's not
down
doing what you
again.
wanted to do.
What about the one you out? There you go. I mean,
Just in time. Beat the Bucs.
what a like,
That's a
tired
cringy.
act.
That's a cringy video. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What a tired act that is.
Got his wife on the camera. Producer Bernadette.
That's his wife's name?
I think
She got to use that 0.5 lens, huh? I'm gonna zoom out of that thing a little bit.
Yeah.
tough.
That's tough. That's bad luck. I hate Skip Bayless. That's a mean. I know hate's a strong word, but I don't really like him at all.
I'm done with the gutless, heartless playoff frauds. Dak Prescott was a 4th rounder for a reason.
Here we go.
That's about as ridiculous of a statement as it gets.
Here we go. All right, current call is brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
And
Me, what we got?
I'm gonna give mine to. I want to go with Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. It's been 20 or 30, one of the two, 20 or 30 years since they've
30
had
years.
a playoff win, right? And for a man who was basically cast away, sent to a quote-unquote bad organization, and kind of left out to dry after being a number 1 draft pick from a team, number 1 overall draft pick from a team,
Went to a Super Bowl.
bringing a team to a Super Bowl, and they lose that Super Bowl, and directly after that Super Bowl, they cast him and said, hey, you got to get out of here. And they were able to win a championship after that, right? So for a team, for a guy that's in that situation, you could easily see him kind of tank it and not maybe see things out and go and flourish somewhere else. For what he went through in that situation, to be able to come back and full circle beat the team that pushed him out the door,
Yeah. Great.
pretty cool to see.
Storylines are all
Pretty cool to
unbelievable,
see.
and then the way the locker room reacted.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you didn't see him get the game ball after the game in Dan's speech, that was pretty cool too.
Good enough for Detroit.
That was pretty cool too. So
Wow.
curtain call
I didn't
to
get that one.
to that entire situation.
Curtain call because nobody saw it because it was on the cock. But Andy Reid,
No, a lot of people saw it.
I saw that. I
The
don't-
most.
I
Yep,
believe
the
that.
most, actually.
Curtain call to Andy Reid's mustache. Just frozen. Gamer.
Frozen. That's great.
Where do you think the wetness came from for it to be sickled?
Couple of things, right? It would have to be play sheet over the mouth condensation, maybe forming, or quick squirt,
Or
boogie boogie.
might have some in
Boogers.
there.
Maybe some frozen boogers.
Little snot rockets in there.
He tried to go to the. There's another video that I have where he went to the heater and like made the players. He's like, I got to defrost the stash.
I love that. I love that. Players coach.
Players coach.
Definitely a players coach. My curtain call, I have a couple of them. One, obviously, I announced the Tiger Girls and cheerleaders. That was part of it. Announced it earlier. My other curtain call is to the Bills Mafia, right? You obviously knew the game got postponed from Sunday to Monday night because of the snowstorm. Obviously, all of the Bills field crew who got the field ready, all the fans who got paid $20 an hour to go and shovel snow out of the stadium, and all the fans that came in and are moving snow as they're getting to their seats. There's not very many organizations I would imagine that would be okay accepting of this. Bills Mafia is one of them. I'd imagine the Eagles would be another one. And maybe Lambeau, Green Bay. Like, hey, we're going to make sure the field's ready to play. It's up to y'all to make sure that y'all's
Oh,
rows
good.
are done.
Got you, coach.
Yeah, no problem. Snowballs.
Just open the
I mean,
doors.
it was...
Just open the doors. We're in there.
It
me
was
in.
awesome. And so my current call is, one, getting it all ready. And two, just
Owning
the
it.
mystique of Bills Mafia. Just they're going through this, hey, our seats are literally covered in snow. Like, we have to sit on top of the snowball to do it. Great. That's what we want.
Did you see him throwing snowballs at wide receivers in the end zone?
In the middle of the play?
In the game. Mm-hmm. Hey, home field advantage.
Home
what can
field
you do?
advantage.
Honestly.
I mean, you saw people jumping off stacked up snow onto flaming tables. The Bills Mafia move. It's like, shout out to those guys because you can't catch me. I would not be.
That's what I was going to ask.
No.
So you don't mind the heat?
Oh, I'd rather be 105 degrees over.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to LSU games where I guess it's not snow. There's nothing you can do about it, but you're melting.
I know,
And
but
I've never looked at the weather and gone, I'm not going.
I'd rather that. Now, I've been to a game in below freezing temperatures out in an outdoor stadium. It sucks. And that's not even like
Negative.
feel like-
that's not even what Buffalo is doing, or it's not even what happened in Kansas City. Your toes hurt, your fingers hurt, doesn't matter how, it's tough.
I feel like to get me to one of those, it's got to be like a monumental situation. Like, hey, this was their AFC championship.
12-team playoff first home game for
May
LSU.
not be back there again. Something that's you like. Not that it never happens, but not the wild card round.
Right.
I'm probably not showing up for that one. Just probably not gonna show up for that.
Yeah. I'm not.
I'm just trying to think of a scenario in which it would affect LSU in that way, where it's like, I don't know if I can go.
LSU will never be in that situation.
I know, but I'm trying to think of what the weather would have to be. I guess the rain, like torrential.
I wouldn't go on a torrential downpour in an LSU game. Like, I've not gone to games for that.
Okay, what if it's
Like, if it's constant, like, not stopping. If it rained early and stopped, I'll go.
like LSU, Tennessee, 2018 at Tennessee when it was just a monsoon?
I was not there, obviously.
I know, but I'm saying if
Allie
that,
was cheering in that. actually, right in the middle of that
When
game.
you had Devin White.
Yep.
But if it's LSU, similar situation, and whether I guess rain is the only thing or heat. But first,
Yeah, but I'm going in the heat.
well, you're sitting in the.
Yeah, but even if I wasn't, I've been in games where I'm sweating my ass off. Now it sucks, but you're there. A couple drinks, maybe some water on the head. You know, you have ways. When it's cold like that, you ain't getting warm.
No.
The only way you're getting warm is if they're putting heaters behind.
What if you undershoot the layers too? Then you're really fucked.
And definitely gonna. I mean, I'm not an experienced cold person, so I'm definitely gonna undershoot the layers.
Yeah.
I did it.
We don't have the proper layers.
I did it the one time I went to the game. It was actually a Washington Commanders game of all games. They were playing the Panthers, and I was in D.C. and we went to a game, and it was freezing, and my toes were numb. I had heat warmers in my feet. Didn't work. It's brutal.
Because I'm thinking LSU now with the new 12-team playoff, if they get a home game for the first round of the playoff, it would be tough to keep me out of there.
What is it going to mean? How cold? It's not going to be cold
what are you
enough.
gonna get?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know the weather situation, what it would be in
Even
Louisiana.
if a cold front came in at that point,
Yep.
and it was 40-something degrees, that ain't cold
It's a
enough.
little too early for it to get that
Yeah.
cold.
Like, you ain't getting this. This is not happening in December, early December. It's like, this is not happening. You may have
Rain?
maybe some rain, but you also may have like a 42-degree low.
Let's say your best,
You know.
your worst case scenario probably usually at that point is maybe high 30s, really windy, overcast.
Yeah.
That's probably what you're gonna get.
Which honestly, 42-degree low is cold, but like, you get some drinks and you get a hoodie and jackets and you're good. Ain't that? Or not that. They're playing.
That's
in
extreme
Tampa.
cold.
This is Tampa. This is great, but you're not getting what you got in Buffalo, and you're not getting what you got in Kansas City.
No.
No shot. All right, good show. We'll get a little show for us today. We'll be back on Wednesday, live from 6 to 8 p.m. Coach Jay Johnson going to be joining the show. We're going to really ramp up our transition into baseball season.
He's been flirting with too many other media outlets for me, so it's time to get him back in the
Yeah,
house.
you got to tell him what. Bring him back home.
Home is where you make it.
Bring him back home.
Don't help me none.
They don't have the connections we have.
No.
You know, what I mean, we have the different conversation. We have a different relationship. You know.
Special.
So he'll be back on Wednesday. We'll talk to him about the upcoming season. Obviously, what he's looking forward to. Talk about the first pitch banquet. That's on Sunday, and then we'll have another show on Friday in studio live from 1 to 3. So we appreciate all love and support. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Stay warm. Listen.
Grab Philly money line right now.
That too. Or then listen to me. This is a PSA. When the roads are iced, you can not slam on your brakes like you would normally slam on your brakes if the roads weren't iced. I know it sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised on how many people are going to end up in the ditch because they felt like they could still drive the same way that they have always driven. So be safe on the roads. Be very cautious drivers. The one time I'm going to say it's okay to drive super slow because when it's ice, you can't really do much about it.
Stay on your phone.
Or just don't even leave the house until it warms up. Until people are on it. You know what I mean? So be safe, stay warm. It's going to be cold tonight, cold tomorrow.
Alexandria is shut down as of now.
Everybody's shut down. I mean, and I'm sure I-10 will be shut down for a minute.
I just snuck in.
It's supposed to be raining a little bit tonight, which means it'll ice. It'll be water, wet. So we'll see. Enjoy the rest of the wild card.
Super wild card weekend.
Super wild card weekend. The Bucs up to nothing.
Nothing good.
Could get a coach fired. Who knows? Enjoy your night. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube. We've gotten some more subscribers recently.
Shocking.
We've gotten some more subscribers. We appreciate the newfound love.
The traction.
Yes. Just keep clicking that thumbs up button. Please keep subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us or you can't watch us and you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods, we appreciate this where you get all the LSU baseball, all college baseball,
start
conversation.
Maybe a TikTok.
SEC.
For the baseball season.
Yes.
McAfee goes live on TikTok and gets like 1 million views. So maybe
We should do that.
Maybe so.
Can we do that? We can have a whole show live on TikTok?
Uh-huh.
Why haven't we done that yet?
Because I don't know how to work TikTok.
You think Jack does?
He's been too busy on the dock, so.
Okay.
TikTok.
Let's get Jack to let's figure that out. All right. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. See y'all Wednesday. Peace.
We'd have to find another. We can only stream to 3 places right now. Jared, say goodbye.
Why do you keep doing this? Just turn the damn camera on. God damn, dude. Jesus.